Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to share a story with you that we read before. Today's story is kind of familiar. We've read it before, but it's also something like the Three Little Pigs. But instead of the Three Little Pigs, today's story is the Three Little Javelinas. I know you're kind of remembering what javelinas are. Well, I'll tell you again in the story, so listen closely and pay close attention. Once upon a time, way out in the desert, there were three javelinas. Javelinas are wild, hairy southwestern cousins to the pigs. The, their were hairy, their backs were hairy, their bony legs all the way down to their hard little hooves were very hairy. But their snouts were soft and pink. One day, the three little javelinas trotted away to seek their fortunes. In this hot, dry land, the sky was almost always blue. Steep purple mountains looked down on the desert where cactus and forest grew. Soon, the little javelinas came to a spot where the path divided, and each went their own different way. Here are those javelinas. The first little javelina wandered lazily along. He didn't see a dust storm whirling across the desert until it caught him. The whirlwind blew away and left the first little javelina sitting in a heap of tumbleweed. Bustling himself off, he said, "I will build my house with them." And in no time at all, he did. There he is getting carried away in this whirlwind of tumbleweed. Then along came a coyote. He ran through the desert so quickly and so quietly that he was almost invisible. In fact, this was only one of Coyote's many magical tricks. He laughed when he saw the tumbleweed house and smelled the javelina inside. A tender, juicy piggy, he thought. Coyote was tired of eating mice and rabbits. There's that little house of tumbleweed that he saw. He called out sweetly, little pig, let me come in." "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," shouted the first javelina, who had a lot of hair on his chinny chin chin. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said the coyote. Well, and he huffed and he puffed and he blew the little tumbleweed house away. But in all the hallua, the first little javelina escaped and went looking for his brother and sister. Coyote, who was always sneaking, trotted along behind him. The second little javelina walked for miles among the giant cactus plants called saguaros. They held their ripe fruit high in the sky. They made almost no shade, and the little javelina grew hot. Then he came upon a Native American woman who was gathering the sticks, and she said she had planned to use the long sticks called saguaro ribs to knock down the sweet cactus fruit. The second little javelina said, "Please, may I have some sticks to build a house?" "Ahu," she said, which means yes in her language of the desert people. And there he is trotting along in that hot, hot sun in the desert. When he was finished building his house, he laid down in the shade. Then his brother arrived, panting from the heat, and the second little javelina moved over and made a place for him. That sign says, "Do not disturb." But he moved over and made a spot for his brother. That was nice. Pretty soon, Coyote found the saguaro ribs house. He used his magic to make his voice sound a little like another javelina's. He said, little pig, let me come in, he called. But the javelinas were suspicious. The second one cried, no, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Bah, thought the coyote. I'm not going to eat your hair. Then the coyote smiled, showing his sharp teeth. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. So he huffed and he puffed and all the saguaro ribs came tumbling down. But the two javelinas escaped into the desert. Still not discouraged, Coyote followed them. Sometimes his magic didn't fail, but then he usually came up with another trick. There they are, running away. The third little javelina trotted through the beautiful Palio Verde trees. With green trunks and yellow flowers, she saw a snake sliding by smoothly as oil. A hawk floated around and around above her. Then she came to a place where a man was making adobe bricks from mud and straw. The bricks lay on the ground, baking in the hot sun. The third little javelina thought for a moment and said, may I please have a few of your adobe bricks to build a house? Sí, answered the man, which means yes in Spanish, the brickmaker's language. So the third little javelina built herself a solid little adobe house, cool in the summer and warm in the winter. When her brothers found her, she welcomed them in and locked the door behind them. Coyote followed their trail. There's her cool little house right there, made of adobe bricks. Look at that coyote. There he is, looking like a little old man. Little pig, let me come in, he called. The three little javelinas looked out the window. This time, Coyote appeared to be very old and weak, with no teeth and a sore paw. But they were not fooled. No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, called back the three little javelinas. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, said the coyote. He grinned, thinking, that this would let them in. But guess what? He was gonna have pig for dinner. Just try it, shouted the little javelina. So Coyote huffed and he puffed, but the adobe bricks did not budge. Again, Coyote tried. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. The three little javelinas covered their hair and their ears, but nothing happened. The javelina peeked out the window. What do you think they're gonna see? Oh! The tip of the coyote's raggedy tail whisked past their noses. He was climbing up on the tin roof. Next, Coyote used his magic to make himself very skinny. The stovepipe grasped his third little javelina quickly, like the fire inside the wood stove. What a feast it will be, Coyote said to himself. He squeezed into the stovepipe. I think I'll eat them all with hot chili sauce. Whoosh, sizzle. Then the three little javelinas heard an amazing noise. It was not a bark. It was not a cackle. It was not a howl. It was not a scream. It was all of those sounds together. Yap, 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 yahoo! Away ran a puff of smoke in the shape of a coyote. There it is. The three little javelinas lived happily ever after in their adobe house. And if you ever hear a coyote's voice way out in the desert again, well, you'll know, and you'll be knowing what he's remembering. Never to mess with those javelinas again. I hope you enjoyed the story of the three little javelinas. We'll be talking again soon. Bye-bye.